the last one that I want to do is a calculator problem. So I really hope you have this yellow half sheet in front of you, just because it has the table on it. Otherwise, I guess you can just kind of follow along with the numbers that I'm putting in on the screen. It's talking about the sales in each month for a car company. So it gives the months from April to November and the sales basically, and it wants us to determine a linear regression. So I'm going to do this all on the computer here. So first thing we're going to do, I need to turn my stat plot on. So I'm going to hit second and y equals. I'm going to turn my plot on. And then I'm going to click y equals and make sure there's no equations in there. So if you have equations, you can clear them out right now. And it's time for us to enter our data. So you are going to push stat and then enter. And I'm going to enter in 0 for April, 1 for May, 2 for June, 3 for July, 4 is August, September, October, and November. So now that I've entered my months, I can go down the list and enter in the number of sales. So 100 is how much they sold in April, 110, 112, 115, 121, 118, 125, and 129. So at the very end of this, I can look back and forth between my left and right arrows. And again, the fact that we have numbers in the same amount of numbers in each column means I'm not going to have an error for that mismatch. So next thing to do is to calculate our actual regression equation. So we're going to go stat, you're going to go over to calc, and the fourth option is the regression ax plus b. I'm going to go down to calculate, and it's going to give me an equation. I would like you guys to do 2 decimal spots on this. So y equals 3. Well, if I round up here, it would round this to a 0, and this would become 6. So y equals 3.6x plus, and then what would this come out to? Plus 103.67. So now if I say to interpret my slope and my y-intercept here, this again is your slope and this is your y-intercept. Your slope relates your dependent to your independent quantities. So this is the average number of sales that they are increasing every month. So I'm actually going to write that down. Slope in this case represents the average increase in number of sales, and here's the fancy word, per month. Okay, so for every month they're getting about 3.5 car sales, whatever it comes out to. And let's see, what's the next? Oh yeah, this is a car company. Okay, so the y-intercept in this case is making the assumption. Again, this is so to interpret the y-intercept. This is approximately how many cars the business sold at the start of our data. Which again, our data was in April. So I don't want you to just say this, it's the starting amount, because the starting amount means that when they sold their, or when they started their business, they already sold 100 cars, and that's not true. So this is just at the time of April when they start the business, they had sold 100 cars. We know, but the approximate value is 103 because of our equation. What I want to do is go back to the graph, and I want to make a prediction. So what I want to do is set my window. And we're going to go from 0 to, we're going to go pretty far into the future. Let's see, we're predicted through November so far, so I'm going to say let's go 15 months out, counting by ones. The lowest number of sales, I'm going to put 90, even though the lowest is actually 100. And we're going to go way above, and I'm going to actually make this like 100, and let's do 160 for the maximum, and I'm going to count by tens. So now I can hit graph, and it's going to show me all my data on there. Now if I want my trend line, if I want my equation to show up, I'm going to hit y equals, and we're going to put in this equation that's right here, 3.6x plus 103.67, and I'm going to hit graph, and there's my trend line. Now let's make a prediction. I went up through November of whatever that year was. Let's say I wanted to predict April of the following year. So if November was my 7th month, that means December is my 8th month, January is the 9th, February is the 10th, March is the 11th, and April is the 12th month. So I'm going to go second, trace, I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to put in 12 for my month. And there's your prediction all the way up here. So my X value represented, again, it was your month, and the Y value was the sales. So in that month, so my prediction, I would say in a complete sentence, of April of the following year, the prediction is that they would make 146 to 147 sales. And then at the very end of this problem, there's the last part. It's an extension of this. We could do something else, and I can say in what month would they get 140 sales. So if I give you the output, how would you work backwards to get the input? I'll show you both ways. So in the calculator, if I want to know when they reach 140 sales, sales is an output value. So you would have to put it in under Y2 and go back to the graph, and now I would really be looking for that intersection. So second, trace. Go down to the 5th option, first curve, second curve, and now I'm going to move my cursor to make my guess. And it is right around the 10th month of our data. So December, January, February, I believe that would be. Yeah, so that'd be February of the following year would be when approximately they would hit 140 sales. So the point of these last questions is to really show you input versus output. So what I want to do real quick is just paste this. Oh wait, that was my equation from before. I'm going to paste my other equation in here. Let's see. Copy, paste. Cool. So I'm going to put this equation back in here, and I'm going to answer those two questions we went through, but using an equation. So if I give you, let's remember our X values represent the month, and the Y values represent the sales. So if I were to give you in the 12th month, I'm giving you an X value. So this is an input if I give you 12. So Y equals 3.6 times 12 plus 103.67. So what you would do first in your calculator, order of operations, you're going to do the multiplication here. 43.2 plus 103.67. And I get 146.87, which was our answer from before. In the 12th month, we made about 146, 147 car sales. And that was if I give you input, we found the output. Now, if I do this backwards, if I tell you that I want you to figure out what month it will be before we reach 140 sales, I'm giving you the 140 sales. So if I give you the output, you need to substitute it in for Y, and that means we are solving for X actually. So the first thing that you would do here is subtract the 103.67 on both sides, and you would get 36.33 equals 3.6x, and now you would divide both sides by 3.6, and we'd get our same answer that we did before. Even if you rewind this video 3 minutes, you would see exactly where we did the intersection feature. You would get 10.09, which in context of our problem means the 10th month of data, they would have approximately 140 sales. So I hope this answers any questions that you had about this. Please email me if you still have any other questions about this upcoming test.